The temperature skyrockets, just unbearably hot, and then almost immediately the sky just opens up with torrential rain. That's pretty much the critical forecast we're diving into today. It covers Europe and West Russia, specifically this period, July 11th, 20th, 2025. We've been digging deep into, the meteorological forecasts, climate analyses, risk assessments, trying to get you the key insights.
Absolutely. And our goal here isn't just to tell you what's predicted, but really to help understand why it's happening. Providing that crucial climate context is sort of connecting the dots between the weather and the bigger picture.
Right. So we've got this immediate, frankly concerning forecast for the next 10 days or so. But to really grasp why it's so significant, we need to unpack the two big weather patterns that are converging here. First up, this wave of widespread extreme heat. We're looking at Western and Southern Europe, potentially hitting temperatures, 10 degrees Celsius above normal?
Yeah, 10 plus degrees. That translates directly into very strong or even extreme heat stress conditions. It's dangerous heat.
And further east, Ukraine, the near Caucasus.
They're not escaping it either. Daytime highs there could push 34 to 39 degrees Celsius. Really intense.
So what's actually driving this heat? Is it just a hot spell?
Well, it's a bit more specific than that. What's really fascinating is the mechanism. We're expecting a heat dome to form after July 10th. Think of it like a lid, a persistent high-pressure system just sitting there, trapping the hot air, letting it build and build.
Like an oven.
Exactly like an oven. And it's amplified, interestingly, by these exceptional marine heat waves, basically. Super warm ocean patches. The Western Mediterranean, for instance, hit 27 degrees Celsius back in June. It's a huge amount of stored energy.
Wow, 27 degrees in the Med. That's like bath water.
Pretty much. And that acts as this massive reservoir, feeding more heat and, crucially, moisture back into the atmosphere.
Okay, moisture. That leads us straight to the second threat you mentioned, right? The severe storms.
Precisely. While the West and South are baking under that heat dome.
Central and Eastern Europe, places like Ukraine, the North Caucasus, they're facing a different kind of threat.
That's right. High risks for intense thunderstorms. We're talking large hail, torrential downpours, and squally winds.
Squally winds, like sudden, strong gusts.
Exactly. They can cause significant damage quite quickly, often quite localized.
And how does the heat connect to these storms?
Well, that preceding heat, it creates enormous atmospheric instability. You heat the ground intensely, the air above it wants to rise rapidly. It creates this incredibly volatile setup, just priming the atmosphere.
Trying it
For severe thunderstorms and really heavy rainfall. In parts of Central Europe, estimates are up to 100, maybe even 200 millimeters of rain. That's a huge amount.
200 millimeters, that's flooding territory.
Definitely. And in the North Caucasus, the warnings are even more specific: rising river levels, dangerous mud flows, especially in those mountainous regions. Very risky.
Okay, so heat waves, severe storms, potential floods, mud flows. But this isn't just a weather report, is it? You mentioned context. How does this fit into the broader climate change picture? These don't feel like isolated incidents anymore.
That's the crucial point. They're not isolated. And it raises the question, why are these events becoming so severe? Well, Europe is actually the fastest warming continent on the planet. Its temperatures have risen about 2.3 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels.
2.3 degrees, that's way above the global average, isn't it?
Significantly above the global average of about 1.2, 1.3 degrees. Western Russia is also seeing rapid warming. And here's the key linkage. A warmer atmosphere fundamentally holds more moisture. Simple physics.
How much more?
Roughly 7% more moisture for every single degree Celsius of warming.
7% per degree.
Yep. And that extra moisture directly fuels more intense storms. It's why we've seen rainfall intensity in Europe jump by 22% over the last 50 years.
Wow.
Which, in turn, contributes to more flash floods. So climate change isn't just a factor. It's acting as a powerful risk multiplier here, making these events worse.
A risk multiplier. That really lands. So for you listening, thinking about this forecast, what are the real-world consequences? Why should you care beyond just the weather map?
Well, the human cost, sadly, is front and center. Heat waves are already the biggest weather-related killer in Europe. Just look at the recent heat wave, June into early July this year. Estimates suggest around 2,300 excess deaths across just 12 European cities.
2,300 deaths.
And here's the truly sobering statistic. Attribution studies estimate that maybe 65% of those deaths wouldn't have happened without climate change.
65%. Directly linked.
Directly linked. Beyond health, Think agriculture, crop stress, lower yields, food security implications. Think critical infrastructure, power grids under strain from heat, then knocked out by storms or floods, transportation disrupted, mudslides cutting off communities.
So it's a cascade of impacts.
Exactly. It exacerbates droughts in some areas while flooding others, increases wildfire risk. It can even ripple outwards, creating broader socioeconomic stress, maybe even geopolitical instability, particularly in regions that are already vulnerable.
So, looking at this July 11th to 20th period, it's more than just bad weather. It's really a snapshot of our shifting climate norms playing out right now.
It truly is, and it leaves us with a pretty fundamental question, really, for you to consider. If these events, things we used to call extreme, are becoming, well, more common, and we're seeing new extremes being reached, what does that actually mean for how we prepare, how we adapt, not just for the next 10 days, but for the years, the decades ahead?